Hi, welcome back to the channel, and if you're new here, welcome. In this video we will be discussing routines, and we're going to be looking at why routines so important, components you need to add to your routine, and a few tools to kind of help you stay on track. I've discovered the beauty and power of having a routine thanks to Dylan James, and Dylan James is one of the few content creators I will be talking about quite often in this channel. I've also discovered it because I've taken several manifesting classes, self-improvement courses, and they all seem to suggest and actually advise that you have a routine put in place. I've had to change my routine because my routine was not going to look like your routine, and my routine probably doesn't even look like Dylan James's routine. So your routine is something that's supposed to be tailor-made to you because it's supposed to be something that works for you, and what might work for me might not necessarily work for you. So you want to be very self-aware as to what would work for you when it comes to building out this routine. And I am going to preface by saying this, I might be glancing over to the side, and that's because I would be consulting my computer for the structure for this video. I am doing quite a lot of projects this year. I'm trying to stay focused and grounded, and I do not have time to memorize this, but I will also have my eyes here on you. So if you do see me glancing over, fret not. I'm actually just consulting to just make sure I get everything that's needed covered in this video, okay? So first of all, why do you even need a routine? Well, first foremost is because it gives you structure. You want to have structure to your day, especially if you are somebody who's quite anxious, you're indecisive, you're not sure what to do. You want to have a sense of structure because with that structure, you then get discipline. And then with that discipline, you're allowed to bring about anything you'd want. So if it is that you want to have more money, you need to have that discipline. I probably need to listen to that a little bit more. I'm actually going to confess that. If you want to improve your relationships, your health, your finances, your fitness, whatever it is you're looking to do, having that structure through a routine builds that discipline and consistency. You need to actually see results. And it is important that you do so. And you need to have a structure. I will say that it's sometimes very hard to stay focused when you do have a routine. And as much as I do believe in time blocking, which is going to be important, I do my time blocking a little bit different, because that works for me. You might need to be somebody who needs a little bit more rigid structure. You might need actual times and time slots to do this. You might need to be somebody who also figures out what best times they work and operate and get things done. And that sometimes might be trial and error. But it's important that you're figuring out what structure works for you in a routine, because that's what works for you, right? Because what might work for me might not work for you. What might work for Dylan might not work for me. So it's important you know what works for you. So secondly, it puts the focus back onto you. Now, if you are somebody who has been putting other things on a pedestal besides yourself, whether it is your career, your kids, a person, money, health, fitness, your parents, your everything, like just anything you can possibly imagine, and you're making it your God, and you really should be only making God your God. Like if you are putting something else on a pedestal when you should be putting the focus on you and God, if you want, you are going to crash out. You're going to spiral. You're going to have problems. And that's what happened to me. Like, I'm not here to judge you, but that's what happened to me. Like last year, I was a hot mess, and now I'm kind of coming out of it. So I'm happy to share what helps me come out of it. But you would continuously have issues if you're putting something else above you or above God, and that's going to cause a lot of chaos if you are not doing that. If you are putting other things before those two things, you're going to find yourself having a lot of trouble. And having a routine puts that focus back where it needs to be. It helps create a level of stability within yourself. You feel proud of yourself, you feel proud of your accomplishments, and you feel so empowered that it does not even matter if you don't get what it is that you actually want. You would actually might get something even better, because in doing the things you're doing in your routine, it actually might put you in alignment with something that's a lot better than what it is you originally wanted, which has happened to me several times because I was willing to just go in, do the work, do what I had to do, and then something better happened. So I highly recommend doing that to put the focus back on yourself, because if you want to bring about anything and you're making this thing bigger than you, you will never have it, or you'll struggle to maintain it should it come in. And that is not how you want to approach this process. You want to be a place where not only can you bring the thing in, but you can sustain the thing in. And if you're doing things on a consistent basis, that puts the focus back on you, makes you feel like you're the prize, adds value to you, then it would be very easy to do that, right? So that also leads into putting it as your value, because when you have a routine that has a components I would list and you're consistent with it and you're growing with it and you're enjoying it and you're enjoying what you do and the results and the feeling and all those little dopamine hits you're getting from doing the positive things, it adds value to you, because then you become a person that you yourself respect. You become somebody who you can actually trust yourself. And it's important that you learn how to do so, because it builds self-respect and self-discipline to a point where it's nothing to get things done. It's nothing. And you want to have that happen, because when you are at when you have rock bottom, so maybe you're at rock bottom, maybe you've lost the love of your life. I'm sorry if you've lost them because of death. I'm sorry if you lost somebody recently as well. So maybe you lost somebody. Maybe you are tired of the life that you're living. Maybe you're overweight. Maybe you're tired of your love life. You're tired of being overweight. You're tired of being broke. You're tired of just everything. And you want to be that person that has that. Having a routine like this would add value to who you are, so that you actually feel good about you, right? You feel proud of what it is that you accomplished, and you want to have that feeling, because that allows for a lot more to come in. So having a routine also adds value where that's concerned and makes you a more interesting person, which is the second to last point. You want to actually have a routine that makes you a more well-rounded person. So I know for the workaholics, you might love your job, and that's okay. But you want to have a routine too that also creates a work-life balance, which I know for some careers is very difficult. But you want to have that just to kind of maintain your sanity, which I know if you're somebody who's a workaholic, you might get stressed because of work. So you want to have something that also creates that work-life balance. You want to have something that also makes you a more interesting person to talk to. So part of what I'm going to tell you in a routine adds to that. It makes you a more interesting and cultured person as well. And you kind of want to have that, especially if you're trying to level up your circle and level up how you interact with others. You need to have that level of sophistication, and that comes with one of the components in the routine, which I do not want to spoil. But yeah, you want to have those little things in your routine that makes you interesting to talk to, especially if you're looking for a partner. You don't want to have somebody who's kind of boring, who stays home and just does nothing. I was like that. No shade. I was definitely like that. I was definitely somebody who would be boring, a homebody, and do nothing. Now, I hate to say it, your girl's outside, your girl's learning new things, your girl is going to art shows and is learning about new cultures, and I'm getting back into reading, which is fantastic. And so there are things you need to add in your routine that actually help you to be a more interesting person and attract people who could also help take you to the next level. But you just being that person that's just charismatic and interesting and just the hottest thing to walk into the room, and not just that, but you're a well-rounded person, it really does a lot for your self-esteem as well. And you kind of want to do that. So you kind of want to have those aspects in your routine that also allows for you to grow and just develop as a person that just has a full life. And it does improve the quality of your life, especially some of the components would do that, health and fitness, of course, will improve the quality of life, because if you're taking care of your body, then you can take care of the other areas. I will confess, not good at this either. I could say almost all these components, I've messed up in some departments, the components I will list soon enough. And I was a mess when it came to health, and I'm actually now improving, and I'm seeing the improvements, and I'm happy to even see where I go further with this. So yeah, having a routine can improve the quality of your life because you're creating balance in your life in all of these areas, and you're helping your mental health, your physical health, your spiritual health, and your emotional health, of course. And in having all of those things kind of just work together and just, flow together and just be in a higher level, you do tend to see your life improve. You tend to see you become a different person, and that is so important, especially if you are trying to manifest things. If you're trying to bring about things, you're trying to be the change you want to see, you're trying to do different things. It's important that you have this routine put in place because it does add to the quality of your life. It makes life a lot more wholesome, and it can also improve every area of your life and improve the quality. And I think that's what you'd also want, because you don't want to also just be focused on one area of life. So I know the top two things that people will really focus on is money and a specific person, a person that you'd want. Doesn't have to be romantic, by the way. And I think when you put too much focus on that and then you're not creating the balance, or you're not thinking ahead, you're not future focused on like, okay, so I have the money, but now how do I keep it? Or how do I make more? Or I have the person, but then how am I going to maintain this relationship? How do I be the person that maintains this relationship? And you have to be future focused. And having a routine also helps you to be, oh, sorry, my hair is everywhere, man. Ugh. Should cut that out. Anyways, and because you're not, well, you can't say this is AI because AI can't even do this. But anyways, because you're not thinking ahead, you're not future focused, you might not even be able to sustain it. I am very guilty of this, and you'd want to be in a position where you can sustain it. And a routine can also help you sustain once you get what it is that you want, right? So those are the reasons why you need to have a routine. If you're looking to manifest, if you're looking to change your life, you're looking to be a better person, you need to have those components because of those amazing reasons, right? So now let's go to the components. So the first component to a routine that I would highly, highly recommend, especially if you're like me, you do get a little anxious, you do kind of pop off sometimes. I think it's the little bit of Latina in me. I'm also Black. I do have a little spiciness to me. I'm very passionate. I'm a very passionate woman, but I also had to learn how to simmer down, make decisions that are a little less, detrimental to my well-being, and having to manage my emotions is so key. I do like being a little spicy, but sometimes you got to bring the spice down to here. And I will say what helps the most in my routine is nervous system regulation practices. So nervous system regulation is this new thing in manifestation where you're regulating yourself, you're regulating your emotions, you're keeping yourself in check. And I would definitely say that having a regular practice of this has helped a lot, because I would literally just be crashing every day. I would literally be stressed every day, and now I'm not. There will be times when things do happen and I do get triggered, and that might happen for you too. We're humans. That tends to happen. I know some of the most powerful people, most powerful manifestors, most powerful spiritual, the most powerful people that I also know, they do tend to get triggered, and they have to bring it back to self, bring it back to God, and it tends to make things a lot easier. So for me, what I do for nervous system regulation, which you can tell by the name, I didn't think I have to give a definition, but these are practices to help regulate your nervous system and kind of help you to control your emotions and not be flooded with emotions, which I tend to be. So the practices that I really do to help with this, one is EFT. So it's emotional freedom technique. It's where I tap on certain pressure points in the body to help release stuff. I do mine a little differently because I know there are different things you can see while you're tapping on the pressure points. But what I do, because I need to have a level of healing for my EFT practice, I add the ancient Hawaiian prayer. I'm not going to say the name because I know I will butcher it on camera, but I add it to where I tap on my body, and it just allows for a sense of relaxation and release when I do so. So I'm going to do a demonstration. I need to go do my nails, so bear with me. So this is what I would do all along my body to kind of help with regulation. So I would go like this. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. On the hair and here. Thank you. And then here. I love you. And I will do several rounds of that until I feel more at ease in my body. And it helps to, especially if I'm feeling like anxiety or anything, it helps me to go from hair to hair. So I highly recommend like EFT practices. There's a guy called Brad on YouTube, and I was actually very familiar with his stuff before it became trendy. And I just thought it was really weird, but I do think God works in mysterious ways, and he had brought that to me prior to me actually doing all of this, because I think he wanted me to get a head start, and that's what you get for being stubborn. But he wanted me to have a head start on what nervous system regulation practices was like. And so tapping with Brad is great. His content is so good for that. He has a video for almost everything. But if you're like, you want to be consistent, you have a short amount of time in your day, you can just do what I do, and it works. Honestly, it works. I don't fly off the handle as much. I don't overreact as much. So I highly recommend that as part of your practice. The next thing I would say is breath work. I do breath work almost every morning now. Like, I'm more consistent with a 5-minute practice than I am with like 15 minutes or longer. And that's just because that works for me. You might need a longer practice, and that's okay. That's fine. But what works for me is mostly a practice that's kind of short, so I just get it done in the day, early in the day, and just move on. The channel that I use for breathwork is called Breathe with Sandy. His videos are so good, and I just feel so much more regulated and less anxious when I do his videos. So I highly recommend going on his channel and checking out a couple of videos there for breathwork. Fantastic. And I also meditate. So meditation is really something I've done for quite some time, and I'll tell you, funny enough, I was introduced to the concept of meditation when I was in high school. I had a fantastic math teacher called Miss Kumar, and I love this woman so much because she gave me appreciation not just for mathematics but also for like the concept of slowing down, which as I got older just became more important. And she was actually the one that was like, you need to take a few deep breaths and learn to calm down. And she was right. And I think that helped me to be introduced to meditation. And then that's been also part of my practice. I'm just testing out different meditations, meditations to help with getting to your true self, meditations to connect within, and to just slow down and to just be at peace in my body, be at peace in my mind, and to not have everything kind of go so fast paced. Because one of the things is I'm really smart, and I'm very intelligent, but my mind goes so quick sometimes that I cannot keep up. I've had to practice how to even slow down in my speaking, because I would talk to clients. So I will get to what I do for work when I do the career productivity part, but I would talk to clients, and sometimes they'd have to ask me to repeat myself. I talk to my friends, they'd have to ask me to repeat myself. I'm on dates and people still ask me to repeat myself. So I've had to learn how to slow down the tempo of how I talk. And it's been an interesting process, because now I'm also more deliberate with what I say. I'm thinking of my words. I'm taking my time to make sure that what I say has a profound impact. And still room for improvement, but I feel like it makes a huge difference in how impactful my words are. And meditation has been something that has helped me with that a lot. I know it's sometimes, and I don't understand how there's still people out there that think you're just sitting down and just going with your hands in a certain position, but meditation can be anything. Of course, for me, I need to learn how to sit still, so my meditation is headphones, something in the background, and I'm meditating. Meditation could also be a walk. A walk can be a very meditative experience. There are also other experiences that can be quite meditative. It's not just set to just, listening to something, closing your eyes and just zoning out. There's a lot of also alternatives to meditation that are pretty cool. Another one is also Tai Chi. I do it on and off. I need to go back to doing it. It's also like a moving meditation that helps you to just relax. It has a lot of cool properties, a lot of cool benefits to it. If Tai Chi is something that is interesting to you, you can try the 24 form. That's the form I normally do. That's also the form I normally do with my Sifu. You can actually find videos about it here, but if you want something a little bit more, personal or something, you can reach out to me and I can see how I can help you with that. But I would say you need to have the practices for nervous system regulation, especially if you experience intense emotions or you are flooded with emotions. I'm both, so I definitely need my nervous system regulation practices. I would also recommend that you do these early in the day. Probably as soon as you wake up is the best, because it sets your day to a point where you're relaxed, you're in control, and you can handle anything that comes your way. So I highly recommend doing that in the morning because it makes a huge difference with how your day will flow. And there are other things you can also do for nervous system regulation. You can do Qigong, you can do yoga, and of course, if you haven't realized, exercise in itself can also help with nervous system regulation because you're managing your stress, you're bringing your stress levels down, and it's helping your body to feel relaxed and to deal with stress a lot better. So whatever exercise looks like for you, it could be dancing, it could be going for a walk, going for a run, playing sports, working out at a gym. Those are great ways to have physical fitness be part of your nervous system regulation practice. And since I mentioned fitness, let's move on to the second component, which is health and fitness. Now, health and fitness is so important in part of your routine because you want to have a component where it has you feeling good internally, it's supporting your health, you're feeling a lot better, and you're basically going from the inside out. And you want a part of your routine to have this because if you do not have good health, it's going to be very hard to maintain anything else. It's going to be very hard to do anything else. And as someone who is actively trying to improve her health, I am seeing how valuable this is. So you want to have all components of your routine that includes health and fitness. I'm getting better with the fitness part of it. So I'm doing more Pilates. I'm getting back into my walking, trying to get back in my hashing, which is basically a hike in the countryside, in case you're wondering, like, you do intense hikes every other weekend. I'm trying to get back to that level of fitness. So that's the part I need to work on. But health-wise, food-wise, I'm a little bit there because I've always had a consistent body weight because of my diet. I tend to not like eating a lot of fried junk food. So you won't be seeing me at KFC. You won't be seeing me at Pizza Hut. You won't really be seeing me in those places. You will see me in places that do provide like a higher quality of food. And the thing is, now I'm trying to get more disciplined with like soups and salads. But I think the biggest thing is cooking at home because you get to have control over the ingredients you're putting into your body. And because I'm not eating a lot of meat right now, I'm trying to, I wouldn't say full vegan because I do use honey and I do use some animal products. But because I'm trying to like reduce certain things, so I'm trying to reduce like processed foods, the sugars, I'm not a huge fan of dairy, and I'm like not really eating meat. It is helping me to some extent where I do have more energy. I'm a lot more focused, a lot more things are happening. And of course, I know some of y'all and I know some of my friends are also doctors and are saying if I'm supplementing for certain things I'm missing in my diet because I'm not eating meat. Yes, I am. I'm taking vitamin B complex and iron. So I'm not missing that in my diet because I do tend to be prone to anemia. I had it when I was a kid, and so I have also compensated my diet with that. So I have that covered. I want to also say that it's not just about nutrition and fitness as part of this component. It's also about making sure you're drinking your water, which reminds me, I gotta go drink my water, and also getting some sleep. I, for the first time in a very, very, very long time, got nice sleep last night, and this is why I'm actually so pleasant today. I've had problems sleeping for a while, and I'm praying it stays consistent this time because a girl needs at least 6 or 7 hours to be her best. So I'm hoping that this sticks. But point of the matter is, your routine needs to cover nutrition, exercise and fitness, drinking your water, getting your sleep. Those are very important components to this part of it, in my opinion, because if you can lock this down and you can get good at this, you can have your dream body. Like, you can literally love what you see in the mirror, and you should actually. It doesn't even matter what size. You should love what you see in the mirror. Like, you should be your biggest fan. You should love every inch of you. And if you don't, you need to go back in the mirror and fix something. You need to go back and in your mind and fix something, which is something I will talk about later. Because you should be your biggest fan. Like, you should just love you so much that you'll be willing to put in the work and to build this routine so that you show up the way you want to. You become that version that you want to be. And that makes a huge difference for the quality of life and like how you show up physically. I did want to include for this appearance, mostly just a general appearance, but I feel for self-care, I would probably include it there. So I probably would include for hygiene and self-care appearance. Sorry, I'm adding as we go. Because that's also going to be part of your routine as well. Like, you want to also look your best. And I do, when I'm in a mood, I do fall short of this, and I gotta get better at it myself. So there's that. So the next component I added is skills and learning. You want to be a more interesting person, then you might have to learn a thing or two, right? I would say that you could start off your day learning a new skill. I use Duolingo to play chess and to learn languages. And I think it makes a huge difference in like how I feel, because it's like I accomplished something else, which is really nice. I'm doing better in chess. I'm learning amazing languages. And you know, I would say the fact that I've maintained learning Spanish has helped me with employment. I was working at a fantastic company called Trellex, and I won't lie, it was stressful, but they were the most amazing company to work with, and they were just so awesome. And even though I'm not a full Spanish speaker, speaking Spanish kind of did make a difference into how I connected with the team. And I just love Julio and Lucia so much. And they were like some of the best coworkers I've ever had. And like, I don't know what it is. I think maybe I just have a preference, not just for Black people, but for Hispanics, because they make me feel like family. And it could be because I do have Venezuelan roots, but they just, I don't know. This is not a video about them. This is a video about learning a skill. I'm getting distracted again. So you want to have something that allows you to learn new skills, allows you to develop into a way that you're more interesting because you're learning something interesting. So for me, my skills would include languages. So there's upping my Spanish, French, there's Italian in there, there's German in there. Like I said, chess as well, which is perfect if you are bad at making decisions or you're indecisive and you need to get better at making decisions, seeing a few steps ahead, planning your moves, and so many other benefits to learning to play chess. I highly recommend that you learn to play chess. So those are some of the skills I'm learning. There's also me learning AI, which just makes sense so many levels, not for what I do, but to just simplify a lot of my tasks, to increase efficiency, to become more productive. So there's that as well. And there's some other skills too that I, learn every now and again, but I can't tell you. I just don't want to. So other skills that would probably help as well is beauty skills, makeup skills. Like, I understand if you don't want to wear makeup, and that's fine, like I get that, but you should take a beauty class. There was an amazing beauty class by Gabby Glam that I went out here in my country. She's such a fantastic teacher. She's very patient. She's very dynamic, and she expanded her business, and I'm so proud of her. So like, you can take beauty classes that are in your local area, in your country, and learn how to kind of improve your look. I would say she did her best with me. I look like such a mess in the photos, but I would say that you need to do things that are interesting to you. I would also say cooking classes might be a good idea, especially if you like to eat. I feel like everybody likes to eat to some extent, and cooking helps with that. Doesn't matter what gender you are, doesn't matter. You should know how to cook a thing or two. You should know how to fry an egg and probably make rice. Just saying. I would also say maybe like other cool skills you could probably learn, like interior design, art, history, Communication skills, so like going to Toastmasters or writing classes might also be of interest to you. And like just learn those skills because it just makes you a more interesting and more rounded person. You can have more conversations and you just present differently when you're doing this. So there's that. Also, I'm sorry, I can't stop it. I just like playing this here. The fourth component now that we're on is productivity. So that's career, business, job, whatever it is you're doing to make money. So if you're living on this world and in this planet, you're going to need money, right? You're going to need some source of income to, have stability, to have safety and security. I would say that if it is that you're looking for a job or something, maybe do look for skills that make money. I will be offering a program that also can help you make money. It's something that's really helped me personally, and I'm happy to teach you and happy to tell you when it's launched. I've been working on this for a while. I'm in the process of the final steps and perfecting it, and then I will drop a webinar for this. So there is that. But you need to have a level of skill and so forth when it comes to getting the money to come to you. Then again, I know in some situations you don't have to, like if you inherited money, if you have someone taking care of you financially, that's fantastic. But even then, I would say you'd want to have something for yourself that's bringing in money. So you might want to build a business. You might want to have a career that makes sense to you and, is providing you money. Because it just makes a difference when you can actually bring in your money. You also do need to have, I am kind of dragging myself with this, you do need to include a financial component to your routine because it would help with a lot of expenses and so forth. Meaning you should have a budget added to this, and I do need to get better on that. So you'd want to have that component as well because it helps so much with things. And so this is why I let it be part of your routine, because you might need to allocate for having a job, a business, a career. And if you're not doing that, it's going to be a problem. The thing is, though, you also don't want to do too much of that because you do need work-life balance, in my opinion, or else you're going to get stressed and crash out. So yeah, important part of your routine is that, and it's whatever it looks like for you, right? So the fifth one is hygiene, self-care, and appearance. I'm going to ask you, you bathed for the day? Did you wash your face? Did you do the things you're supposed to do? And I really hope it's a yes. If not, baby, go get up. Go do the bare bones, please. Like, the reason why I'm saying this is because I was at a level when I was really depressed that I did not want to do any of those things. And I'm not doing it to attack you. I'm doing it to check you, to make sure that you know that you're supposed to be pouring into yourself, because you're supposed to have that level of self-care. And I know it's not the easiest thing when everything feels like it's crashing around you, but you need to at least go do that, because sometimes that's the step that makes you start to put yourself back together. So yeah, basic hygiene of that. I'm going to include this in hygiene for the sake of the video. That hygiene also means having a clean space, clean car, which means, I'm gonna go clean my house and my car after this video. So you want to have that because it helps energetically with a lot of things. It also helps that when you're clearing out like your space, you're clearing out your car and so forth, like you're getting car wash and everything, it does help energetically to bring out things, because I think for you, if you want to bring in like new amazing things, you have to clear out the old. It's just how things work. You can't keep clutter and then expecting amazing things to come in, because if you're cluttered, and this does not just go for physical clutter, but if you're cluttered, you're going to find it hard to manifest, to bring in things. So you might need to take a step back and go work on that, right? And yeah, like I just said, I have stuff to do with that too. Like I have to go get the car wash and go clean up the house. So right there with you. But I will say that if you're really at rock bottom and you can't get out of your bed, you can't shower, you don't brush your teeth, you don't want to, start very small. Like start with one of those things at the very least. Go take a shower. Just take a shower, right? And when you're in that shower, just start thinking of like 5 things you're grateful for, and then let that energy just drive you throughout the day, right? So there's that. There's just basically just taking care of yourself like that. Now, with respect to appearance, you do want to kind of start better grooming, because if you look good, you do feel good. And when you actually look like you're put together, you look like everything is on point, it does kind of create this ripple effect that you're confident within yourself, you take good care of yourself, and that could actually help you get a job if you need a job, or get a date. I don't know, like whatever you're looking for. I just know those are the two most important things people care about when it comes to this, so I'm talking about it. But like when you look good, you do feel good. And even on days when you feel like absolute garbage, if you're looking fly, you'd be like, well, it don't matter. I just look so good in the mirror. I like what I'm seeing and da-da-da-da. And yeah, you want to be there because it just makes things a lot different. I would say you want to stay ready instead of having to get ready. And that's something to work on for me too. But yeah. So that would include, obviously, your hair, your nails, your clothes, your shoes, your accessories, also like your skin and so forth. So part of appearance might be investing in yourself or doing things a little bit differently so that you show up differently. And I have to change a few things myself to show up a little differently. And I have to some extent, but there's still room to go. And I feel like you should also be striving to do better each time. Like, you should not be complacent. You should be striving to do better each time. And so that's where I'm at, and I will be doing that. I also do want to add that hygiene does not just include the physical. Like electronic hygiene, which I know we're all guilty of, is like very heavy inboxes. We have a lot of stuff on our phones that we're not using. We'll have stuff on our laptops, and yeah, that's part of it too. So there needs to be a system in place to do that. I am going to start having to slot some time in my weekend to do this, because I do have stuff that needs to be cleaned up, and every now and again I do take the time to clean up my inboxes because it just gets so flooded. But I would say that you want to be doing it consistently. So there's that. So that's part 5. Part 6. So you want creativity in your routine. And the reason is that having a level of creativity, it helps with problem solving. It allows your mind to be more activated in a nicer, fun way. And it also just adds more fun. So, go back to that childlike thing you used to do that would add for creativity. So whether it's arts and crafts, whether it's drawing, writing, sculpting, doing music, singing, just something that writing, just something that gets you into your creative juices. It really helps with your self-expression as well, but it really helps with the problem-solving aspect of it. A lot of shade is thrown, and I was guilty of this too, mind you. But a lot of shade was thrown like on humanities students and so forth. And I'll be honest, humanities is really what drives a lot of creativity for a lot of the amazing solutions we have. Case in point, Claude AI, which is like the love of my life. Okay, not really the love of my life, but you know what I mean. I use Claude a lot, and one of the co-developers actually is a humanities graduate. So there you go. You do need to have a level of creativity in your life, because it also helps you to nurture your inner child, which is really nice. Like, you don't want to be a boring adult. Like, you want to have something about you that's a little fun and sparks a little interest. And I always find like having a creative touch does that. So you want to have something that allows for that, right? And I do think having a level of creativity does that. I also would include like other things, like you can do sewing, you can do knitting, you can do interior design, you can do those things as well. So you're not limited to the stuff I just listed. Okay. So you want to have an aspect of spirituality. And that is number 7. You want to feel connected to spirit. I will say nowadays, I do feel like I'm reconnecting to God, which is really nice. I grew up Roman Catholic, then I went to a non-denominational church for a minute. And then I was like, super into God, but it was kind of like, but now I'm like really leaning back into that, because it does seem to work for me a little bit. But whatever spirituality works for you. Don't let me stop you. And I'm not going to judge you. If there's things that work for you, I'll be honest, there are things that do sometimes work for me a little bit out of the norm, and I'm okay with that. But I do feel like myself just constantly going back to God, and that's fine. The other component is connection. And what I mean by connection, I mean by connecting to yourself, but also connecting with others. You need to have an aspect of connection because socializing is important. I hate to break it to you, any introverts here, it is important. I can hear you literally groaning through the screen, but you do need to have an aspect of socializing because when you are interacting with others, it helps a lot to like manage your skills, how you speak and how you carry yourself. And it also helps with some mental health issues, so you're not depressed or anxious so much. So connect with yourself. Meditation helps with that as well. Spending time by yourself, doing things you love. You want to connect with others, maybe go to a movie with friends, go out, have a good time with them. Join clubs if you don't really have friends. And this is like a pro tip for those that can't make friends in their 30s. I was also guilty of that, no shade. You do want to join like groups. You do want to join like communities that are similar interests, or you guys have a similar goal or target in mind. And that's actually how you make friends in your 30s when you struggle to make friends in general. So there is that. So that helps with connection. I don't necessarily want to go through this, and I think I might have to make separate videos on all of this. So there's that. There's also an aspect of self-empowerment that you need in your routine. And mine is mostly affirmations and positive self-talk. I love to talk up myself. I love to think of myself as the best thing in my life. I like to see myself as the main character in my life, but I also do like to make sure that I'm kind and I'm considerate of others as well. I will say affirmations is big for me. It's been one of the biggest things in me changing and having my routine because I do a lot of things in my day. I probably just mostly listen to most of my affirmations at night. So if I'm looking to change any specific era of my life, I will throw on like an affirmation tape at night and listen to that. And then the next morning, just go about my day like nothing happened. And it also helps because I used to be that girl that would like obsessively affirm, and it drove me crazy. And I decided that that's not working, so I'm going to listen to my sleep tape at night. I highly recommend, I think, Jalen's channel for sleep tapes. Kim Velez has a nice one, especially on being chosen. Dylan James is pretty good, and I think I might create my own at some point when things slow down and I launch and everything seems to go well. So those are the components in a routine. I do have a few more suggestions and then tools, and then I'm going to wrap this up. I would advise, if it is that you're crashing out, you're anxious and so forth, you're really depressed, you're really anxious, please go talk to a therapist. Like, that's non-negotiable. You need to be putting you first. You need to be putting your emotional health first, and you need to be taking better care of yourself. Go talk to a therapist, a licensed coach or practitioner, just to make sure that you're regulating and you're doing as best as you can. Highly recommend that. I've been to therapy, and it's been one of the things that has helped me a lot. The other thing is the tools. So I use a tool called Finch. Can't take credit for that. My friend Luna actually introduced me to Finch, and it's a fantastic and very cute tools that help me keep on track of my goals. I get to take care of a little burb, and you get like little bonuses and stuff if you take care of her and you send her on adventures. It's so cute. Love it. I also used to use Habitica, which is a gamified version of an app, and it's amazing, but I was not consistent with it as I am with Finch because it basically gets to the psychological processes of, awards, and then you're like hurting this little thing if you're not showing up for it. So it's actually very good reinforcement techniques, and I kind of like that behavioral psychology thing you got going there, Finch. But I would say, yeah, definitely get Finch if you need something to hold you accountable. I may be looking one day to help with coaching to hold people accountable for these things, but I do have a few things I need to go work on internally, like a few things I need to go focus on as well with respect to career and business as well as my health. So I'm not going to do that just yet, but when the time is right and I feel like it's more aligned, I definitely will. That being said, thank you for sticking around this long. Let me know what else about routines and so forth. Let me know if you have other questions about routines. If you like stuff like this, hit like, subscribe to the channel. I also want to say that I will be doing more affirmation songs, which you probably see on the channel. I will be doing my own affirmations and sleep tapes, as well as I'll keep giving advice like this. But if you have specific topics, you can leave them in the comments and I'll get to them as soon as I can. I think that's it. So once again, thank you. Have a good one. I'll see you in the next one.